What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, last night at CCXP Mexico, Marvel Studios was on stage with a live presentation including the cast of the Fantastic Four, and then they went one step further than that and actually revealed a full exclusive scene, not just a trailer, of all new footage and what fans are calling extremely CGI intensive and have a huge positive reaction to. We're going to break down the full description of this scene. I will, of course, issue the normal spoiler warning, but there is one huge detail and Easter egg that was revealed in this small clip that might actually reveal how all of these timelines are going to end up traveling the multiverse to reach each other. We're breaking it all down, this latest exclusive clip at CCXP and the major multiversal Easter egg. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing since the first of the year. We are growing again at a breakneck pace. It's awesome. Seriously, thank you guys. And if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to hit the sub button. It's the #1 thing you can do to support the channel. Plus, it'll automatically enter you for the PS5 giveaways. And in fact, we'll be giving away Fantastic Four tickets next week when they go on sale. So make sure to leave a comment on this video, be a subscriber, and let me know if you plan on seeing the Fantastic Four opening weekend. Okay, quickly, spoiler warning. This is the description of the scene from people who were in attendance. If you don't want to know this stuff for some reason, I'm wondering why you clicked on the video in the first place. No worries. Now would be the time to back out. Otherwise, you've been forewarned. Also, keep in mind, we're all sort of going off the exact same secondhand account, but there's going to be different people in the audience who are going to use different words to describe things, so just keep that in mind if you start seeing different descriptions. It's all the same scene. This is what they said, quote, "The quartet is inside their ship, and Sue starts going into labor, but the Silver Surfer is chasing them. Ben takes over the ship and starts trying to dodge her, and they jump into some kind of hyperspace. The CGI is great. We see Reed Richards stretching and using his powers. The Silver Surfer almost reaches Sue's belly. She's trying to get the baby, Franklin Richards. Jonny takes over the ship's cannons and tries to shoot the Silver Surfer, but keeps making jokes about her being sexy. Meanwhile, Sue continues to have contractions. Reed tells Ben to go into a black hole. Ben gets worried. Reed tells him to trust him, and that's the end of the scene." Okay, so obviously first up, the cat's out of the bag, or should I say the baby's out of the belly. Over the weekend, we actually got a first look at Franklin Richards via some of the toys and figures coming up for Fantastic Four, and even though Marvel Studios went out of their way to CGI erase Sue Storm's belly bump, we now know for sure she is pregnant with Franklin Richards, and key to the plot for a movie that has a subtitle First Steps, and of course for the future of the Multiverse Saga and Avengers Secret Wars. We've got plenty of time to get there. The next huge takeaway is the fans referring to the CGI as great, because I will say that has sort of been a hitch for Marvel Studios here recently. Some of their CGI has looked incredible, and then in the very same movie, or maybe even in the same scene, you get CGI that doesn't look so great. This is of course a symptom of them using multiple CGI houses to sort of get through the immense amount of work that they have to do, but hearing that the scene looks as good and as exciting as it's supposed to be is actually great news. Well, maybe in light of some of those pre-screener reactions we were hearing about earlier in the week. Quick side note, the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed that those test screenings actually happened. But the huge Easter egg here is Reed Richards instructing Ben Grimm to fly their Marvel One spaceship, which they are all aboard, directly into a black hole, which obviously, given what they saw on screen, registers with Ben as not a good idea. But here's the thing, we've already seen that exact same thing happen once before in the MCU canon. In the last episode of Loki Season 1, right at the beginning, when we go all the way out from our solar system, presumably so far out that we leave the black hole we're inside to enter a different black hole. Now, it's not exactly clear if this is supposed to be taken from the point of view of the collector ship that we see briefly just for a couple of frames as we're exiting our universe, but the camera angle clearly leaves our black hole in order to enter another, and this is the very first time we're seeing on film Marvel Studios in an episode that deals with He Who Remains and the sacred timeline, hinting at black holes as the possible way to travel across the multiverse. Then Marvel Studios would almost seemingly confirm this at the end of the Marvels when we see a rift open between two dimensions, and at the center briefly, before we're linking one part of the multiverse to another, we see a singularity, as Monica describes it, another black hole. So here you have twice in a row black holes referenced at crucial times in multiverse canon during the MCU, leading to a scene in the Fantastic Four where Reed Richards has presumably already worked out the math on that enormous board and figured out that black holes are the way to travel across the multiverse. Now, what I love so much about this, as fans of astronomy or quantum physics will know, at the end of a black hole is supposed to be a singularity that that sort of replicates what the Big Bang may have looked like, and some have even theorized, again, this is a real theory in the real world, that our universe might be inside of a black hole. It seems like Marvel has sort of built that scaffolding onto explaining their multiverse, and this is just a level of realism and research that I wouldn't have expected to find in the MCU. I, of course, will not spend the next 10 or 20 minutes in this video explaining all that, but when I meet you guys out in the wild and you recognize me, one of the most common questions I get is, what YouTube channels do I watch? And the answer is easy by a mile. My favorite channel is Cool Worlds, run by Dr. David Kipping, where he explores all the wonders of the universe, including this theory and topic we just talked about, and outside of some absolutely crazy math that even leaves enthusiasts like me in the dust. Even if you're just new to astronomy or have some questions or want to know about what the heck I was just talking about, Cool Worlds is easily the best place to go. I'll leave a link down in the description to his channel, and again, I cannot say enough about the quality of his work. Huge fan, great channel, go check them out. Now, what does this mean for the MCU? Well, up until now, it seems like being able to travel the multiverse is something that, because it shouldn't be happening and destabilizes the multiverse, is only reserved for a very seldom few situations or specific characters, like America Chavez, which we're still unclear whether or not she's honed her powers by this point, but by the end of Multiverse at Madness, it looks like she was getting the hang of it. We also saw it at the end of the Marvels, which we just showed, in an extreme energy situation that required 3 superheroes and the Bengals, and then before that, if we are to believe that that was the Collector's ship going from one black hole to another in his point of view, rather than just us finding our way to the Citadel at the end of time, well, he's of course a Celestial on a totally different power set and technological set than any of the other superheroes in the 616. So all things told, this would be a massive reveal for the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards, but also the rest of the multiverse if Reed Richards is going to be at the center of Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars and now knows how to travel the multiverse. That's just another character that can explain it to, of course, the big brains, say like Bruce Banner, to Rocket, Shuri, etc. And then that leads to technology where they all have abilities to be able to travel the multiverse, which might make for a more interesting story between Doomsday and Secret Wars than if they're all just basically rubber duckies stuck in the tides created by those who can travel the multiverse and start causing incursions. But I think as this relates directly to the Fantastic Four storyline, it really gives us an inkling as to a major role for 2 characters. First of all, knowing that you can enter and leave black holes is possibly into and out of a different multiverse, maybe exactly how Reed Richards is planning on dealing with Galactus. Of course, if he's planning on eating your Earth and he's a huge problem for the entire universe, well then putting him in a different universe would be a permanent and good solution. That's how Reed might know about this in the first place, and that's the exact math we may be seeing on that huge chalkboard that he's using during the trailers. And obviously the other character this has huge implications for is the as not yet born during this scene, Franklin Richards, who is rumored to be born out in space. Look, I've seen some people mention that in the comics he was born in the negative zone. He actually wasn't born in the negative zone. There were just complications during his birth in the 616 that forced the Fantastic Four to go to the negative zone. But I think we would be very safe in theorizing here that Franklin Richards might end up being born and maybe even in that black hole, what could be a different multiverse, and that might be exactly what the MCU uses to explain why Franklin Richards is born a reality warping Omega level mutant, not just because who he's born to, but where and how he's born as well. I think that this scene probably is way more important than just what it is on the surface. That's why it ends in the cliffhanger than it does. And to be totally honest with you guys, I cannot overstress the level of enjoyment I get out of this when A, making Marvel theories for a living becomes a lot more meaningful when you can actually make theories. And here's a great example of Marvel over the entire breadth of the multiverse saga so far, actually working to keep some sort of continuity, pun totally intended, across a very deep and meaningful Easter egg. It makes the theories all that more satisfying when we see something that we think they may be doing and they actually follow through with it, as well as them actually looking to real world science as a way to describe their in-universe science is, to me, just really the cherry on top. But you guys let me know what you think about any and all of this. Remember to be subscribed and leave a comment to enter for the Fantastic Four ticket giveaway or for the PS5 giveaways. Remember to hit the subscribe button to keep up with the channel. And of course, if you like today's video, smash the like button. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all other platforms with original music under the name Allfires. While I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, and thanks to all of you you already who have helped my latest single go viral. Actually, it's an old single. It's from 2 years ago, but it has started popping off. You guys are awesome. Thanks for checking that out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.